What's going on, everyone? Alex Miller from the Eagle here, joined by Travis Brown, our trusted Texas A&M reporter here at the Eagle, coming to you live from the Eagle newsroom. And Brian had to get out of the Kyle Field Media Center quick, so we just ran back over here to give y'all a little recap. Jimbo Fisher speaking with the media this morning, or I should say this afternoon, excuse me, before A&M's big game against Alabama this Saturday. Travis, what do you feel like was kind of the tone of what Jimbo Fisher had to say, and even tied in Jalen Weidemeyer, the only A&M player we got to hear from today?
Yeah, it was a little terse. It was a little short. Coming off of two what probably would have been unexpected losses in the beginning of the season and heading into Alabama, which is only a 17.5 point spread opening, which I know a lot of people are a little confused about, but yeah, it was a little short, and the hits kind of keep coming as we learned today that Miles Jones is going to be out for the season. Brian George, also cornerback, is going to be out for the season, and Luke Matthews, the center who was going to be at the top of the depth chart at center, he's going to be done for the season too. He had surgery today, so the questions about depth. I know Jimbo Fisher. One of the things he said when he first came to Texas A&M was building depth in this program. That's what you need to have in the SEC, and it's kind of an example of the haves and have-nots coming to this game about Alabama, who just seems to reload with players every single year, and A&M, who has suffered just a few injuries, but just doesn't seem like they have the guys in that second string team to step up and be able to plug some holes where they need it, especially as we're looking at quarterback and offensive line.
Yeah, I think reload versus rebuild, that's definitely an interesting comparison. We consider everybody that Alabama lost last year, what they've been able to do this year with the guys that they have stepping in, we're comparatively to A&M, where they lose a bunch of guys, and it's more of a rebuild rather than a reload. At cornerback, I would expect Tyreek Chappelle probably to step in there on that other side of Jalen Jones. Talking with Jalen Wademeyer, he made an interesting comment. I think you asked him, Travis, what made the quarterback battle between Haynes King and Zach Calzada so tight as we were repeatedly told throughout fall camp. And, really about the mentality. What'd you hear from Jalen on what he had to say about that, and just kind of overall thoughts on what was said about Zach Calzada today?
Well, I mean, I think it was kind of a non-answer because it went into the mentality and the drive and the leadership that the two of them had. But I mean, you can have leadership for days, but if you can't find open wide receivers downfield, that's not going to win ball games in the SEC. So yeah, I mean, you can have a competitive contest in drive and want to between the first string quarterback and the fourth string quarterback, and there's still going to be a difference in how those two players execute. So a little bit of a non-answer there. I mean, I think that the one thing that you can glean from it is that there's a lot of respect for Zach Calzada amongst his teammates. I mean, I think one of the things that struck me as far as Zach Calzada is, I know Justin Woodard from KAGS got a video of him walking off the field, and he was pretty emotionally upset after that safety and when the game was over, walking off the field with his head down. Anais Smith came over and talked with him for a while, gave him some pats on the shoulder, and then Ryan Pitzinger, the team sports psychologist, ran over and was right next to him in his ear, just chatting with him the whole way back to the tunnel. And I think that is, Jimbo talked about that a little bit today, about how mental health is one of the biggest challenges for college athletes today, more so than any kind of physical exertion or competition that is out there. It's maintaining and channeling and challenging those demons, because 20 years ago, you don't have, if you had a bad game as a quarterback, you don't have all of Twitter and Facebook and message boards and everyone blasting you for how good or bad you did. You just had the people that you ran into every day. And so I think that is a new challenge and an interesting thing. But yeah, to go back to your question, I think that it is pretty clear that he does have the respect of all of his teammates.
Yeah, you definitely saw the emotion after the game. In A&M football Twitter posting this morning how Zach Calzada was one of several players that went out to the student ticket pull line and were handing out donuts and tacos to the students who camped out for tickets ahead of A&M's game against Alabama this week. You know, for a guy to go through a loss like that, receive a lot of criticism, I think it says a lot that he has the ability to go out there in front of his peers with a smile on his face, you know, thanking them and encouraging him they're going to the game and you know, kind of giving back for supporting them. But yeah, any kind of final thoughts on what was said today? Pretty short and sweet from a couple of guys.
Yeah, I think that the other interesting thing that stood out for me is that Jalen Wydermyer said that it was the Alabama game 2 years ago that really gave him the biggest confidence boost in his game. And that's kind of where the trajectory upward for him started. He has 2 touchdowns in that game. And I think there's something to be said that of the fact that probably no one is going to pick A&M to win this game. And I would highly doubt that A&M will win this game. But the things that can come from this game, if the team plays well, if individual players play well, to be able to say that you went up against the #1 team in the nation and had a good day and had a good game, that is one of those moral victories that the coaches and players will never talk about, but can affect a player and affect a team moving forward. I mean, look at what A&M did last year. They lost to Alabama and rattled off eight straight wins, eight straight wins to head right in and win the Orange Bowl as well as a part of that. So yeah, I think there is something to be said. I know coaches won't talk about moral victories, but there's something to be said about going out and performing at your best against the best that can do a lot for teams and players moving forward.
Well, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Be sure to check out theeagle.com for all of our coverage leading up to this Saturday's game between the Aggies and Crimson Tide. For Travis Brown, I'm Alex Miller. We'll see you soon.